Maybe you've tried the breathing exercises, the supplements, meditation, hormone support, and nervous system tools, but you still feel like your body never fully relaxes and you aren't experiencing the healing and the shifts you've been looking for. Today, I want to talk about why that keeps happening and what you can do to finally see the shifts and the changes that you've been searching for. Welcome back to the Whole She Rises podcast. I'm Mandy Scovern. Let's get into it. Nervous system healing isn't just about what you do for 5 minutes during a regulation practice. It's also about the life your body has to return to afterward. And honestly, realizing that changed the way I approached healing completely, because I stopped focusing on just the nervous system tools. And I started asking myself whether my actual lifestyle was helping my body feel safe enough to heal, or was it quietly pushing me back into survival mode? Because so many women are trying to heal, but they're still living inside the same environments, schedules, relationships, and expectations that keep their body in a constant state of stress and protection. And I know that experience deeply. I think one of the hardest realizations for me personally was understanding that my body wasn't just reacting to a major stress. It was reacting to an accumulation of stress that was woven throughout my entire lifestyle. And for so long, I truly thought I was doing everything right. I was researching. I was going to all the doctors and therapy appointments, trying the supplements, the hormone support, all the nutrition changes. And some of those things absolutely mattered, and they were helping to make a difference. But what I didn't understand yet was that my nervous system never actually felt safe enough to consistently receive the support I was trying so hard to give it. Because even while I was trying to heal, my life still felt like a lot of pressure. I was constantly mentally scanning, constantly carrying responsibility, some of which was truly mine, but some of which wasn't. Constantly thinking ahead and constantly trying to make everyone else feel comfortable and happy. And my own body never really got the message that it was allowed to come out of protection mode. I think we underestimate how much our environment affects our nervous system. And I don't just mean aesthetically. I mean the noise, tension, our rushed mornings, our constant notifications, never sitting down, multitasking all day long, always consuming information, and even relationships that keep you hypervigilant. Your nervous system is constantly interpreting your environment. And for me, one of the first things that I noticed was how little quiet my body actually ever got to experience. So even when I was resting, I wasn't really resting. I was scrolling, I was listening to something, I was thinking about what needed to happen next, or maybe all of those things all at the same time. I remember having this moment where I realized I didn't even know how to sit anymore without needing some type of stimulation. And honestly, that hit me hard because I realized that my body had adapted to this constant input. And I really wanted to be able to be still and present, but I had left no margin for that in my life. So with few of the shifts that I started making, they weren't dramatic or extreme. I was simply creating a few more moments of safety and quiet and slowness throughout my day. I started doing things like I turned off all of my social media notifications. I stopped feeling like I had to immediately respond to every text, email, or message the second that it came through. I was choosing quiet sometimes instead of automatically filling every drive or school pickup line with podcast, information, or scrolling. And listen, I still love learning. I still enjoy good podcast and personal growth content. Please don't stop listening to this podcast. But I started realizing that even helpful input can become overstimulation when your nervous system never gets space to breathe. I had to be really deliberate about when I chose to listen or consume the information that I was wanting, and when to choose quiet and stillness. I also started noticing how much urgency I carried all day long. I was rushing while I was getting ready. I was rushing while I was driving. I was rushing everywhere I walked. I was even rushing my responses to my family and friends because I felt like I needed to hurry to the next task. And I want to say this too. I don't mean you need to completely overhaul your entire life right now, all at once with this. Honestly, that approach usually just creates more pressure on an already overwhelmed nervous system. Maybe just this week, it's simply choosing one or two small things that help your body feel a little safer and a little less overstimulated. Because small shifts, they matter. They really do. And nervous system healing often happens through consistency and safety, not intensity. So over time, my body started softening, and my hope is that yours will too, through these small shifts, not forcing everything all at once. The next shift for me was pretty big. I stopped asking, how do I fit more into my day? And I started asking, what is it that actually protects my energy? Because time management alone does not work well when your nervous system is always overwhelmed. You can have the perfect planner and still feel really exhausted. Midlife women especially are often trying to operate from productivity models that completely ignore nervous system capacity. And this changed so much for me. I just started noticing which conversations drained me, which environments overstimulated me, which commitments left me depleted for days, and which habits actually restored me. And I stopped treating my energy like it was unlimited. That doesn't mean becoming fragile or avoiding life, not at all. It just means becoming honest. Your body is always communicating in capacity. And when we constantly override those signals, eventually the body starts forcing us to listen through symptoms, exhaustion, irritability, shutdown, brain fog, anxiety, or inflammation. This part was deeply uncomfortable for me because I used to feel like every boundary needed a long explanation attached to it. Like I had to convince people that my no was reasonable enough. And honestly, that came from nervous system patterns too. People pleasing, fear of disappointing others, fear of conflict, fear of being misunderstood. These aren't usually our conscious choices that we make. They are nervous system patterns that we've learned and developed along the way. But regulated boundaries often sound much quieter. Sometimes it's simply just, that doesn't work for me right now, or I can't commit to that right now. Maybe it's something more like, I just need more rest this weekend, or simply, I'm not available for that. No over-explaining, no shame spiraling afterward. And I want to say this gently because I know how hard this can be. But every time you abandon yourself to avoid discomfort, your nervous system notices. And every time you honor your limits with safety and compassion, your nervous system is noticing that too. That's part of how trust gets rebuilt inside the body. And that's when restoration and healing can start taking place. I think nervous system healing eventually becomes less about the isolated tools and more about your overall rhythm of your life. How you wake up, how rushed you are, who has access to you and how much access they have, what your home feels like, how often your body experiences peace, and whether you feel emotionally safe just being yourself. And listen, this is something I'm still having to actively practice too. There are still seasons where I catch myself overcommitting, overworking, trying to hold way too much. But now I notice it faster, and that's healing too. It's not perfection, but it's awareness. I know I used to believe that regulation meant becoming calm all the time. But honestly, who can live like that? Life is always still happening. There will always still be stress and hard days and unexpected moments. So healing isn't about reaching some perfect state of calm all the time. It's about becoming more connected to yourself through those waves, more honest about your needs, more able to recover, more able to choose differently, and more able to protect your peace, your energy, your needs with confidence instead of shame. And I believe that over time, that is what truly changes everything. That's what I'm starting to notice in my own healing journey. If this episode resonated with you, I've created a free guide called the Back to You Blueprint. It walks you through some of the first shifts that helped me begin moving out of survival mode and back into connection with my body and my nervous system. The link to download it is in the description below. I would love for you to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss anything, and consider sharing this episode. It's how this message reaches more women who still feel alone in this. And if this episode connected with you, I want you to watch this episode next, because it goes even deeper into the hidden nervous system patterns that are keeping so many midlife women stuck in survival mode without even realizing it. Thank you for being here. Take a breath, trust your body, and let's rise together. I'll see you next week.